Hey, welcome back. 2018 updated seed starting video. You know, I learn stuff each season. I learn a couple new things. One thing we're talking about this year is how long to soak your seeds. Now, there's been some talk about how many hours to go. Well, to me, it matters a lot in what the seed is like. This seed here is a very thick, beefy seed. I would soak this 2 to 3 hours, no problem. But now, if you have seeds with dried tips, they're going to take the moisture in much quicker. You wouldn't need to soak them more than 20 minutes if the tip is dried at the end. In a hot summer, you get dried tipped seeds where they're paper thin and that moisture would penetrate that jacket much faster. That's what you got to keep in mind. You don't want to waterlog your seeds. One of the biggest problems with starting seeds is they get them too wet. Now, when your seed starting mix, it should be just enough that when you squeeze it together, no water drips out, but it stays together in a ball. See, that's what you call kind of a dry mix, just moist enough to stick together. That's all you need. You don't want it soaking wet, dripping wet, because what happens is they soak the seeds too long, get them waterlogged. You have waterlogged soil. And then also what we do is we soak the peat pots in water so they don't suck all the moisture out of the potting mix. So we put the potting mix in here. And as you can see, it's kind of a semi-dry mix, just enough moisture to hold together. Then after soaking this seed for 1 to 2 hours, point down, place the seed in the pot. Now what's going to happen is you need a little bit of oxygen. So what's going to happen is that seed has the moisture that it needs. What you don't want to do, you don't come back in 24 hours and do the knee-jerk reaction dumping water on this. What you want to do is you want to put this in your incubator. And I have found a poor man's incubator. Check this out, a cake cover. I found this in the recyclables this morning. What a great place. If you don't have the fancy $30 seed germinator, you could use this. These seeds will germinate in the low 70s. If your house is warm, you can place this on top of your refrigerator. You're going to put these inside there so they don't dry out on you. You don't want them drying out. So leave the lid on for 48 hours. You can watch them through here and see if they start cracking the soil. Also, if you have an electric blanket, some kind of heating pad, you could actually add a little heat that way, maybe put a buffer under it. The purpose of heat is to speed up germination. They will germinate in a 72-degree environment. I've actually germinated them down here in 68-degree environment down here. Sometimes it's 65 down here. And they germinated just fine. So here's your poor man's incubator, or if you don't like that, if you do have the money to spend, you can buy the fancy. You can find these online. I'm sure you can buy them on Amazon, or you can buy them from Ron Wallace. He sells them now. And buy these online and have a more, quicker germination. Just don't keep the seeds soaked. That's the biggie. You don't want them soaked. A soaked seed is going to rot. Alright, so that being said, what we're going to do is put these in an incubator. They'll be in there for like 2 to 3 days. When they start to crack the soil, I remove them from bottom heat. If you're using bottom heat, remove that immediately. Bottom heat is not good at that point in time. We do not plant them in these jackets. What we'll do is rip these jackets off and put them in the growers' bags. I will be doing that soon, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I'll make another video when we do the grow bags. I want to talk to you about people using these jacked up starters for your grow bags. They're buying, I don't want to mention any brand names, I'm not going to badmouth any brands, but I don't use jacked up potting mixes for my seedlings, because the reason is I wouldn't feed a steak to a baby, and all my plants need is Mark's mixes. I'll start out with Giant Grow and my Root Keeper root inoculant that I've soaked the seeds in, and this is what I'll use to feed my plants. I'd rather trickle feed them on a daily basis, or with seedlings you don't water them daily, you'll water them every 3 or 4 days. I'll trickle feed them the nutrients they need rather than have jacked up potting mixes. Now I don't need to fertilize, and I shouldn't fertilize because I'm going to overdo it. I'm going to overdo it. I'm going to burn a seedling. I'm going to be trying to feed a steak to a baby. So I'd rather, and the same thing in my garden, I'll talk to you about this summer, I don't need my soil all jacked up. I'd like it balanced, and I will amend it to get it balanced, but I don't want it so jacked up. The problem with having jacked up soil, you can't reverse it. Once that hits the the mat, you're stuck there. And the only way you can back it off is to overwater and leach it off, and that can cause disease. So I'd rather use Mark's mixes or whatever fertilizer you're using and do the daily trickle feed. So anyway, stay tuned. I don't want to make long-winded videos, but that's basically how to get your seeds started. If you have any questions, post it below. Thank you all for joining up this year. I appreciate your patience. If you haven't got your seeds yet and you're in a hurry, you need them, send me an email at mark@worldwidegiantgrowers.com. I'll make sure that you're on the top of the list to get your seeds out tomorrow morning. All right, man. Thank you, guys. Thanks all for supporting me.